Empathy is acknowledging them, acknowledging yourself, and then moving forward together. And so empathy at work is really about showing up with emotional intelligence, showing up and being able to. There is the expression, leave your baggage at the door when you come to work. And I actually don't subscribe to that at all. It's impossible to leave your baggage at the door. But what I do advocate for is to be able to come to work and know that no matter what's happening in my life, right now I can set it aside because I know it's going to be, I'm going to put it under my desk. I'm going to put it in the corner in the staff room. I'm going to, it's with me because it's part of my human experience. I can put it aside and I can actually just be present and know that it's going to be there, that my coworkers are going to, maybe this day I'm having a heavy day, they're going to pick up a little bit of slack for me because I said, today's a really...
You're listening to the Focus on Customer Experience podcast. Benjamin Del Grosso gives you the ins and outs of one of the most underlooked aspects in business today. Improve your customer service and watch your business skyrocket.
2, 1.
Now, here's your host, Benjamin Del Grosso.
All right. Hello and welcome to the show. Today we have Georgia Reynolds. So she came from a hairdresser to a corporate trainer, team coach, and beyond. So she went from styling clients in her salon chair to nurturing leaders at the top of their career. So, Georgia, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So give us a little rundown of I guess how you got to where you are today.
So my career started as a hairdresser, as you said, which is a service industry, a high service industry, and a very vulnerable service industry. People literally put their heads in your hands. And I did that for 10 years. And from there, I moved into corporate training. So I stayed in the beauty industry, but I worked with hairdressers, first in a technical training capacity. So I trained them how to use the products of the brand I represented. The whole time, though, really, my customers became the hairdressers, where I needed to not only deliver the technical information, but I needed to deliver it in a way that it was meaningful to them. I needed to deliver it in a way that it resonated with them, that it connected with them. So I really had to be service minded in my technical training, in my technical delivery. And then the last 5 years of my corporate career, I actually was part of a global initiative that the brand put out, and it was called Empathy and Service. It was called Service and Retail Academy. And it was really about putting the heart back in the customer and service provider relationship. So instead of making it about the product, it was about the relationship and the product meeting the need. Being a part of that opportunity was super cool. I got to do training here in Canada, in the US, in Mexico. I got to work with an Asian team. And what was so fascinating about that is that we think we're unique in our markets and in our desires and in our customer needs, and we're actually not. So we have a lot of the same customer needs, and we have different ways of meeting them or different expectations, but the needs are really the same. And so doing that was sort of the catalyst to me saying, you know what, I actually really would love for this to be accessible for small business. How could this be available for small business? How could we strengthen the dynamic of the team and make it easy for them to deliver excellent service? How could we make it so it's a no-brainer? And training in small business is often feels unattainable. And so finding a way to make it accessible to small business really became the business model that I embrace.
Nice. Yeah. So a couple different things there. One, when you were a hairdresser, do you find that you have to be very in order to be really good at kind of like owning that chair, right? Do you find that you have to be really good at changing your communication style frequently to match a lot of your customers' needs?
Yeah, so this is a big question, actually. It sounds like a small question, but it's actually a big question because the sort of historical model is that you have to match the customer's um, energy, you have to match their personality, you have to match their style. And I would challenge that in a more modern way by saying you actually just have to acknowledge it. You have to acknowledge and respond to it. You don't have to change. You can still be you. So if you have a client that is like loud and wild and, like takes up so much space in the room, you don't suddenly have to be loud and wild because that would be inauthentic. But you can really say, like, just in case you're thinking I'm too quiet, this is, I tend to be more quiet. Don't worry, you be you. So let me see you, let me, put myself in that equation. And then between us, we're going to figure it out. We're going to figure it. You might think I'm quiet, but I can still do loud and wild hair, even if my voice isn't loud and wild. And vice versa. If I'm a big personality, I use lots of, gestures and loud voice, and I have crazy hair, and you're somebody sitting in my chair and you're more conservative, as opposed to me saying, oh, I can't do your hair, or that client sitting in the chair going, oh my God, is she going to do that to me? Just name it. Just say, like, I can see that you like a nice rich brown and even haircut. Don't worry, just because my hair's crazy doesn't mean I only do crazy hair. So you're sort of seeing and acknowledging the person and also showing up fully as yourself. And that's authenticity, and that's sort of connection building.
Yeah, I know I've had a lot of times when you sit down in that chair and you're talking and then they don't want to talk. So they don't even acknowledge you. They're nothing and they're not creating any kind of experience. Like I understand that some hairstylists they don't really want to talk, but you can still, oh, interesting. Interesting. Like you can still like, like there are people who joke that they can carry on conversations for hours on end on with 3 words, right? And I imagine that there's probably hairstylists that can probably do the same thing. Oh, tell me more about that, right? Like, like they probably can have a couple things. But the thing is you're going to get people that don't want to talk at all. And then you're going to get people that do want to talk. And then you're going to have, like you said, loud people that they want everybody in the room to know we went
Yeah,
partying and I can't wait for you to do my hair. That's the
exactly.
wife, whatever, right? So I mean, I don't have much hair left. So I'm not at that stage where I need my hair cut too often.
So in that idea of, you can carry on a conversation with a nice, that's interesting. You can also say, while I'm cutting the outline of your hair, or while I'm adding these highlights in, I really like to focus. So if I don't talk, it's because I'm focusing. And that's the part about actually putting yourself in and letting the person in your chair know that I'm not being rude. But actually, I can't concentrate on 2 things. I can't, because I have a funny story for you. When you blow dry, sometimes you can't always hear the words. So my strategy was always to say, oh, wow, that's cool. That, like, and even though I didn't hear every single word, I didn't actually know every single word that the client was saying because I couldn't hear it over the sound of the blow dryer. I said that was cool when somebody told me their cat died.
Ooh.
So it's a little risky to just uh-huh, okay, sure. So it is a little risky, but it isn't risky to say, I actually can't hear you while I'm blow drying. So, like, give me a minute. Like, when I'm done blow drying your hair and I'm finishing the haircut, then we can finish this story. That's actually more service. To me, that's more service focused because it's authentic.
Oh yeah, no, I understand exactly what you're saying. So what I didn't tell you off camera is my sister is actually a mobile hairstylist
Oh my goodness.
in Kelowna.
Mm-hmm.
And she's now kind of at the point where she's trying to specialize more in weddings, right? So
Awesome.
which is pretty cool. And she's doing it for quite a few years now. I don't know. She's probably like year 15 or 18 or something like that in hairdressing. So, but yeah, and she just does it mobile. So she goes direct to people's houses or direct to the wedding and, does it there. So she has to be very good at what she does for creating an experience and taking care of these people.
Mhm.
So I always want to kind of switch gears a little bit here because I know you've switched gears from being a hairstylist to going into different fields. So why is it that you've shifted into being a team coach?
It really and truly was that space of working, even though my employer was a corporation, so I was a corporate employee, my clients and my customers were small business. And that switch came when I was starting to run up against a tension of opposites between the corporate expectation and the needs of the small business. And so my switch came when I was like, you know what, this is really valuable information that I'm gaining from my corporate training and my corporate positioning, but it needs to be massaged to meet the needs of small business. And so by removing the expectation of my full-time job, I was able to take the information and adapt it and mold it to meet the specific needs of the small business. And all that time in a hairdressing chair, you can imagine how many different businesses and industries and jobs and careers that I was able to engage with. And in having those conversations, hairdressers have a mindset that we're different. And honestly, small business, no matter what your area is, so you specialize in automobile, your small business is not that much different than the small business of a salon or the small business of a cafe or the small business of fill in the blanks, because small business is really about small business. And so being able to expand outside of the beauty industry and actually cross pollinate. So what does the beauty industry do really well that maybe other businesses could learn from? And then what do other businesses do that maybe the beauty industry could benefit from? So beauty industry is brilliant at relationship. They're terrible at sales. And it's because they have that connection, that personal connection, that they don't want to be seen as pushy or bossy or salesy. But really, by not doing that, they're missing an opportunity to serve their customer. Somebody who, has a beautiful, bright red hair color with the wrong products isn't maintaining that beautiful look. So it's a disservice. In other industries, they could be great at selling, but they're missing the relational piece. And a little bit about what you told me about your business, you really highlight that relational piece, even though the product that you sell is more concrete. And so I think you are really leveraging that relationship, that relational piece. And I would love to see more small businesses do that.
Yeah, I mean, we also do an 11-month follow-up because we don't believe in a 1-year follow-up. Everybody does these 1-year follow-ups. It's like, it's been 1 year since we've installed your product. You now have no warranty. But anyways, is there anything we can help you with? Oh, by the way, there's something wrong with my product. Oh, well, you don't have any warranty anymore. Can we sell you a new one? And I don't understand that. And it's funny because coaching after coaching after coaching after coaching teaches you to do these, 1 week, 1 year, 2 year, and 3 year follow-ups. And it's like, yeah, but most products are sold have a 1 year warranty. So why would you contact them at the 1 year mark? You should contact them at the 11-month mark. Kind of giving them the whole like, hey, it's been about 11 months. So you probably have 30 days left on your warranty. So if you have any issues, let us know now before you have no
Mm,
warranty, right? You don't have
I
to say
love
that.
that.
You don't have to say that on the video, but you're just saying, hey, it's been 11 months since we've installed it. Most people are programmed to know that most products have a 1 year warranty, right? You buy a TV, it has a 1 year warranty. You buy a phone, it has a 1 year warranty, right? So, people do, it's funny because I've had a few people, not a lot of defects, but people have reached out, right? Like I actually have a customer I'm seeing today who just said, hey, like it's not saying these certain things anymore. It's still recording, it's still doing all the stuff it's supposed to do, except it's just not telling me where the red light and speed cameras are. So it's almost like there's just something wrong with the voice notifications. I mean, it's still recording, which is what you want it to do. But I was like, oh, whatever. Well, good thing I did the 11-month follow-up, because now we can get, solved for you within warranty.
I really love that. That's an exact example of not following a script. Um, the idea of following a script is just like you said, oh, this is how you do it. You do it in 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 3 years. Where what I just heard you say is that how do I want to do it? How do I want to make sure that the customers are taken care of? So there's a checkup, just like all the scripts, there's a checkup, but it's more, it's meeting your values of true value. And I haven't talked to you long enough to know what other values you have, but it sounds like contributing true value is important to you. And then you've adapted it to a way that actually does that. And
Yeah.
that's relational. That's so relational.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's the thing, right? And not everybody's gonna respond, and somebody still, I mean, I know I would like to think that my customers are all going to reach out to me if something's wrong. I would like to think I've built that relationship, but I also know I've gone to people's houses and I'm like, why are you removing this? This is like a $1,200, system. It doesn't work. Well, why don't you go back to who you bought it from? They're a big company. They can take care of you. Nah. Well, how long have you had it? 6 months. I'm like, you still got full warranty on everything. And they're like, I don't want it anymore. Just put your system in. And like I tried following up with those people because I wanted to make sure the same shit didn't happen to me, right? But
This is another, that's another beautiful example of you're responding to what's in front of you. You were able to identify that this person has a different way of working. So even though I work this way, I'm going to work differently with this customer because they have different needs, requests, ways of working, ways of being. This is an exact example of true customer experience. And it's exciting to hear you say that for someone who finds service and experience so important.
yeah, I just don't want to be that same person, right? So I mean, and this is all because I don't want to. It's not like, don't get me wrong, we got to sell stuff, right? If we don't sell
Yeah,
stuff, we're not in business, right? Like
yeah,
that's it at the end of the day. But still, at the end of the day, we want to maintain our level of service. We want to be able to help the customers out. And if there is something wrong, I'd rather know, hey.
mm-hmm.
But one thing I've come to know about people in general, right? And you've probably easily seen this over all of your years. Someone gets a bad haircut. Someone got a dash cam that's not working. Somebody bought a fridge and it didn't work, or a TV and it didn't work, right? And instead of picking up the phone and calling and saying, hey, like, I'm really not happy with my haircut. I'm really not happy with my dash cam, right? And I don't advertise it at all. I don't advertise it at all. But like I had a guy who basically said to me, like, I really don't like this dash cam at all. I hate it. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, which one do you want? Well, I kind of want that other one. Oh, okay. Well, it was like $50 difference. So I'll just come and swap it for you. Well, how much is it going to cost me? $50 difference. We're not charging me for a whole new install and ripping me off. And no, like, I don't advertise this at all because I don't want people abusing it. But if someone's really that unhappy within the first 2 to 3 weeks of like getting a job, like getting a dash cam installed, yeah, I'm just going to take that one back. I'm going to take care of that customer because I
Yeah,
don't
of
want
course.
you. And I like, it's funny. Actually, I've done it 3 times. 3 times I've actually done it in almost 3 years. So, and the one guy said, I said to the guy, what's the better story? And he goes, what do you mean? What's the better story? Is the better story, I hate this dash cam because every single time I have to hook up to it, I have to turn off my cellular data. to hook my phone up to it, and I hate how it works. Is that the story that I want you to tell all your friends about, how don't use this guy, or I hate this dash cam? Or would I rather have the story of, man, he sold me his dash cam, I wasn't completely satisfied with it, but he swapped me to this other one and I love the other one, it's so great. What's the better
Mhm.
story? Because I can tell you right now, that's what we're doing. We're selling stories to customers,
Mhm.
right? And I would
Exactly.
rather that story be told saying, hey, he sold me one, I wasn't completely happy with it, but he got me this other one. It's awesome. I'm so happy with it. He took care of me. He didn't even charge me anything extra, right?
Yeah, it's great. And the other thing I love about that is that you're responding situation by situation as opposed to making these sort of almost like um, they're not fake at all, but when you make these like great proclamations, um, it doesn't seem quite as authentic as, you know what, in this situation right here, right now, I'm going to respond in a way that meets your need, which is that's really the customer experience, is responding in a way that's specific to them. And yes, you have ways that you respond, but every time it's specific to them. That's really
Mm.
high quality service in my perspective. Um, I have a question for you. Do you have a team? Do you have a team of installers? Do you have a team? It's all you?
Right now it is. Yeah. No, actually, the funny thing is I've been putting out these YouTube videos, and I'll have like there's some YouTube videos that's been out for like maybe 2 months and they have like 7,000 views. Like it's blowing up on YouTube, my dash cam channel. And I'll get emails from people saying, man, like your team is so amazing, da 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 da. Like you guys can put out these videos, you're installing dash cams, you're so knowledgeable. I get emails from people saying, I hope only Ben comes out and installs it. I really want Ben to come out and install mine. And it's like, and then like only like one person recently last month, I told them like, here's the secret. It's only me right now. And they're like, what? You do all of that? How the hell do you even have time to do all of that? I'm like, time management, right? And I still have lots of downtime where I could be doing other stuff. It's just, balancing kids and wife and family,
Yeah,
everything,
yeah.
right? So, um, you know, my buddy's like, you actually told that customer it was only you. You ruined it, that customer. He thought you had this giant team. And I'm like, well, actually, he's just like even more blown away because he can't believe that you could do all of this stuff. Right. But I mean, that's the thing. Like, I was going to hire people. And this is the problem in entrepreneurship, too, is someone like me running this business might go and hire one or two people so I can feel important, right?
Mm,
So I can feel more important. But I'm looking around going, I'm not even fully busy all week. Like if I'm not fully busy with bookings, like sometimes I'll have a week where everything's packed and another week it's packed, right? And then, in order for me to make a YouTube video, I'm up at 4 a.m. and I'm recording the YouTube video and editing it and kicking it out and then hopping on the road, all day. And then I get home, at 7 o'clock at night. And then, anyways. But that's the thing. You're rolling with the punches. And that's the
yeah.
thing with with anything in life, right? So, and as an entrepreneur, you're rolling with the punches. But the thing is this is how it starts. You start with one or two people and it'll blow up. But a lot of people
Hmm.
early on, when I started my business, we originally had a bunch of people hired and a bunch of stuff went wrong on day one where some business partners backed out on day one.
Mm,
And because of that, I found everybody jobs and moved on with my life, right?
hmm.
However, if I would have kept them on because I felt guilty, business would have sunk within 3 months.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
got to live another day almost 3 years later because I made those hard decisions. Too many
Hmm.
people are making decisions based off emotions instead of making decisions based off of, unfortunately, this is what we have to do for the business, right? If you had 100 employees and everybody could take a 5% pay cut so that you could keep all 100 employees, do you think all 100 employees would agree to it? Probably not. But guess what? You'd probably find out pretty quick that 80 of the employees were probably fine with it if everybody got to keep their jobs, right? And you might end up finding
Mhm.
out who the people are who aren't working good in your organization.
Yeah.
But I've
Yeah.
actually been at that table when the recession hit, working for a company at the midnight meeting where all the owners and everybody said everybody was going to have to take a 5% pay cut or we're going to have to let go like 20% of the workforce. So what is it? And we decided that everybody would take a 5% pay cut. The owners took a bigger pay cut. And from there, we were able to we let go of 2 employees out of, I think, like 150 employees. We were able to keep going. But a lot of people, they build their culture and then, oh, I have to make a business decision. Well, we'll just get rid of a lot of the workforce. But you've already spent all this time building them into your culture, training them, teaching them, and now they got to go find other jobs. I know it sucks
That
taking a pay cut, right?
Yeah, that example that you're giving is there's two things I heard in those things. Is one, how generous it was. I would propose that you actually did make an emotional decision to let those people go when you first started. You made an emotionally intelligent decision, which is a little bit different, where you realize that being keeping them on would have sunk the business, which would not have taken care of those people. So instead, you made a decision to help them find other positions, to do whatever you needed to do so that they would be well and the business would be well. And that's a very emotionally intelligent decision. Um, and then the second story that you told about being at that table where everybody took a 5% pay cut to be able to keep going, that's really the part about taking care of your people. And so, like we started out, the area that I focus on isn't necessarily the signatures or the from the team to the customer. Uh, I tend to focus on how do we get the team feeling well enough, strong enough, good enough, cared for enough, supported enough, so that actually when you introduce those service signatures, when you introduce that customer into the equation, it's easy because I feel comfortable. I know that I'm going to have a job tomorrow. I know that I can get sick. I know that my teammates are going to have my back if I make a mistake, or I know that I have autonomy to make a decision with a customer to switch out their product if it doesn't meet their needs. And that's the part that I think could be paid more attention to in the small business arena, is really giving the team those resources so that they can perform the way you envision your company servicing.
Yeah, no, that's great. So, I mean, I guess it does say that you do a lot with empathy at work.
Mhm.
So let's kind of, I guess, switch gears into that. So explain us a little bit more of what you do with empathy at work.
So empathy is a buzzword right now. It can be perceived as a noun. You have empathy or you do not have empathy, and it's actually an action. And empathy is a way to connect with other people. All the examples I've given so far are really rooted in empathy. When I talk about when we started the conversation with the hairdresser, being the hairdresser, empathy is acknowledging them, acknowledging yourself, and then moving forward together. And so empathy at work is really about showing up with emotional intelligence, showing up and being able to. There is the expression, leave your baggage at the door when you come to work. And I actually don't subscribe to that at all. It's impossible to leave your baggage at the door. But what I do advocate for is to be able to come to work and know that no matter what's happening in my life, right now I can set it aside because I know it's going to be, I'm going to put it under my desk. I'm going to put it in the corner in the staff room. I'm going to, it's with me because it's part of my human experience. I can put it aside and I can actually just be present and know that it's going to be there, that my coworkers are going to, maybe this day I'm having a heavy day. They're going to pick up a little bit of slack for me because I've said, what, today's a really heavy day for me. This is what's happening. But I'm here and being super, super present. And so empathy at work is being able to say to your colleagues, this is what's happening for me today. I'm here. I'm setting that as much to the side as I can. This is what I need to be able to carry on today. And whether it's, can I work in the back today and you do customer facing because that's what I got in me. Or actually, I'm going to be all customer facing today because if I'm alone and quiet in the back, it's going to be too overwhelming. And being able to have those conversations, and you don't have to spill your guts and give all the ins and outs and the nuances, but being able to just really ask for what you want and ask for what you need in a way that it's negotiated, it's received, it's safe to do so, so that you can continue on with the business of your job.
And I think empathy, I think like it is good, but I also see parts of it people are taken advantage of, unfortunately, right? And because of that, I think it leaves a couple employers with like a sour taste, right? Like, so you have like people who generally will have some challenges that that you need empathy for, right? And then you have some people that like this now when the government has these, what is it, 5 sick days or something like that, I think that you can get paid for, where you don't even have to tell your employer why, right? And I have interviewed people on here who have told me stuff off camera. I've also had people tell me, like, so this person said they needed like a sick day, and then they're like taking pictures, going around doing like fun stuff all day. I'm going, I'm paying for that day. What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
So kind of like, this might be, maybe just curious, like, what would you say about like that? People who kind of, I mean, I think, unfortunately, with anything, going back to Ferris Bueller's Day Off, you know what I mean? I'm sure you've seen that movie, right? Where he's sick at home, but he's like doing stuff all day.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the unfortunately with society, because there's Instagram and Facebook and all these kind of, social media things, it's very easy to see things in real time or not know whether or not that person's at home sick in bed posting pictures from a week ago is the other problem. So nobody knows, because you can add tags in saying that, hey, I even did it once, like many years ago. I did a post saying on my way to Vegas. Now, I never actually went to Vegas. It was just there was like some special event going on that day. So I put that I was going, and like I had like 40 likes, and oh my God, he's going to Vegas. And I remember like one of my bosses called me like, you're going to Vegas? I'm like, no, I'm just did it as a joke. He's like, what? How do you even do that on Facebook? I'm like, you could easily just like put that you're on an Air Canada flight going to Vegas, right? So, in this day and age where you can find all this stuff, it gets hard to even track down whether or not, people are even really sick, like, because I just think about that whole Ferris Bueller's Day Off or whatever, right? So
Totally.
I don't know if you have anything to add to that. It was
I
kind of like,
totally do.
go ahead. Yeah.
I totally do. So there's a couple of things that I have to add about that. So number one is um, assume good intent. So what I mean by assume good intent is that really the number of people that actually take advantage in that way is small. It's really small. And so it's unfair to color all of our team with those very few people who will take advantage. So that's the very first thing I have to say. And it's natural. It's if I go back to the service experience. You have one really tough customer, and all of a sudden, all the customers are tough. Like it's like a little trigger in our brain that, oh my God, I can't face a customer. All customers are terrible. They're all like demanding. We kind of can, that one negative thing can color our whole experience until we can get back into our like conscious mind and say, okay, really, actually, it was that one customer that was difficult. So same with employees. There was that one employee who was always taking advantage. So that's one thing that I would like to put right first and forward. Don't let those, one offs color your whole team. That's the first thing I would say. The second thing I would say is if you really are able to foster a team, and whether that's a team of 2 or a team of 200, if you're really able to foster a team where people do feel comfortable enough to show up with whatever they have and feel comfortable enough to say, today I need a day for whatever reason. If you're fostering that true connection, then there's actually, when I'm having a really shitty day, I know I can still come to work because I'm allowed to have a shitty day. That divide of people who maybe don't feel comfortable at work, and outside work isn't feeling good right now, and inside work is feeling terrible, I'm more likely to call in sick. I'm more likely to, not show up, not perform. So that's the second thing. So one is assume good intent. Don't let those one bad apple swipe everything. Number 2 is by really intentionally fostering that connected, authentic workplace. And then the final thing is that what's their performance? Are they performing at work? If they're performing at work, and when I say performing, I mean, doing the job they were paid to do. If they're doing the job they were paid to do, then what are you really losing by them having that day or that, whatever it is? If they are not performing at work, you actually don't have to deal with those quote unquote fake sick days. You deal with the performance. So you don't ever have to say, oh, I saw you, out in X taking pictures and having fun on that day you were supposed to be sick. You actually just address the performance at work, because that's what the problem is. The problem isn't where they are outside of work. The problem is the work getting done. And so that gives you as a manager, as an owner, perspective and a place to start from.
Yeah, no, that's good, because people should just focus on their performance at work. You're rewarded
Yeah.
for doing good work, or you're fired for doing a bad job, period, or reprimanded and retrained, right? But I mean, still at the end of the day, that's just really what it comes down to is, basing them on their work performance. But there's a lot of other people who will bring the personal side or emotional side into those decisions. So, but yeah, we are coming to the end. So what do you have any final words of wisdom, and how would our viewers connect with you?
Let's see. Based on the conversation we've had here, what would be my words of wisdom? My words of wisdom, I guess, would be, because we've talked a little bit about authenticity. Words of wisdom would be like, how do you want to serve your customers? What experience do you want your customers to have? And actually decide from there. So that would be one. So I love your example of checking in 11 months. That would be a perfect example of deciding. And then really look at how you're supporting your team. Really look at how you're supporting team. What's your team environment like, so that they're able to deliver that service that you would like to deliver. Those would be the 2 things. The best way to find me is on at my website, georgiareynolds.ca. I am on Instagram, but I'm not super active. And LinkedIn is another way. And Self is Team is where you would find me on LinkedIn.
Perfect. Thanks a lot for coming on today.
Thank you.